Welcome to The Firing Line. The Firing Line radio show is brought to you by Bullseye Sports in Riverside, the Riverside Indoor Shooting Range, CCW Safe, Maupin Financial Advisors, Cutting Edge Bullets for when you care enough to send the very best, Prato Olympic Shooting Park in Chino, by Gromit's Cutlery and Gifts, and Vortex Optics, Vortex, the force of optics. And now your host, Philip Naiman.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Welcome to the Firing Line Radio Show. I'm Lou McCoy, along with the rest of the Rex Reviews crew, as your guest hosts for the day.
We're the guest hosts. We took Philip Naiman and we tied him up and put a bunch of stamps on a box and sent him to a faraway place. So,
Rex, you're not supposed to tell people about
remember that, what was that movie, Airheads, where they take over the radio station?
Exactly.
That's what we did. We got some plastic Uzis, filled them up with hot sauce, and we took over the radio station. So we got three of us crazy dudes up in here. Whoa, two dudes and one chick. Hey, yeah. Kacie, how you doing?
I'm definitely a female. I'm doing pretty good.
She's a female. Yep. But we thought that we were such fans of Philip Naiman's show that we kind of stalked him and we captured him and we, like we said, we got him in that box and he's in the mail now. He'll probably survive. We poked holes in the box. But anyways, we're here to host the show for you guys today. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Phil should be back next week sometime to resume his regular duties.
And you guys are going to have to roll with the punches with us because we're not from the coastline area. We're from the north areas where there's not a lot of populations up in there. So we might get a little backwoods for you, but
colloquial, right?
Yeah, we're going to use the colloquial cowboy English is what we like to say, but we're going to have fun. So it was very exciting to come here to California and take over this radio station with our plastic Uzis with the what do you call that, hot sauce in there?
Mm-hmm. Hot sauce is dangerous.
Hey, wasn't there that guy from the Spinal Tap band? He was in that movie, wasn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, I love that movie. It's hilarious.
So yeah, a big thank you to Mr. Naiman for letting us take the reins on the show today and give you folks out in California a different experience this week on the Firing Line Radio Show. Like we said, this is the crew from the Rex Reviews podcast. You can check out our website on rexreviews.org, and we've got the legendary TiborasaurusRex over here. And Rex, you were a guest on the show 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I came on here. Actually, I came down to Palm Springs area a couple weeks ago, and me and Philip drove around all over SoCal. He showed me some of the local shooting ranges, and we're kind of scoping out a spot to do some shooting. We started doing some training classes and stuff like that. So for long-range precision rifle shooting, we're just kind of checking out the areas for good spots to shoot, and we couldn't find really anything that was suiting our fancy, so we're looking at some private ranches and stuff. But yeah, we're excited. But at any rate, I was a guest on the show, and we talked about all kinds of fun stuff, man.
And you did a really good job, in my opinion, of explaining the gun culture in California and how it has gotten to the point to where it is today. Yeah,
it's amazing to see how it could evolve from, like back in the 1980s even, or before that, it was very, very much California was not shy to bear their firearms. There's a lot of really hardcore gun owners in California. I think that it's kind of geographically very, very much that way culturally, but then it's punctuated by these city areas where people are scared of guns because maybe they haven't been around them or they watch TV shows where guns are horrible, scary things. And when you watch too much TV and too many movies, you kind of get the wrong idea. But when you get out there in them rural areas, then it's more of an everyday kind of thing, and it's not really that horrible of a deal. It's actually a pretty cool thing. And so, yeah, we had a good discussion about all that stuff and how it evolved from kind of that firearms-friendly culture to what it is now, where you have basically psychopaths trying to take away everything because they got something weird going on, I think, Lou.
It's different than it is out here in the upper Midwest where you and I are at, for sure.
Yeah, up here, man, every single house is completely well-stocked, even Grandma's house.
And it's a part of everyday life, too. And if you don't have a gun...
Yeah, you feel naked or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's not because a guy's scared. It's just it's like having a pocket knife, or it's a tool, or like your wallet. You know what I mean? It's
or the toolbox in your truck.
Yeah. And actually in the state where we live, they just passed a constitutional carry law. That just went into effect on August 1st. And basically anyone in the state who's not convicted felon is totally clear to carry any kind of weapon loaded on them at any time. And there hasn't been like a lot of cowboy action shootouts in the streets or anything like that yet, or no apocalypse yet. Basically, it's just a way of life up here. So it's a different animal around where we come from for sure. But it's something that's kind of interesting to observe when you travel around a bit, the different attitudes on them things.
Just listening to a couple episodes of the Firing Line radio show to prep for today's show, it sounds like the gun culture is a big part of the culture because you obviously have shows like this and you do have gun ranges.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool people on the ranges out there, I met. Yep.
Absolutely. But there's also a culture of fear that goes along with the gun culture. And
the gun grabbing culture.
Exactly.
Is motivated by the crime thing, I think. And there's a lot of crime in some of the areas down there where you got gangbangers and all these turkeys like this trying to be tough guys. And up here, that deal does not work at all.
No, it doesn't.
You get a gang and guess how long it lasts up here. The first time they try to bully around some old lady or something like that, you got one little gangbanger pulling out his piece and it's not going to work out too good. They don't even attempt to try to do that.
You remember a couple months ago up here, there was some guy that broke into a rural house and
it didn't work out so good for him.
They just smoked him and that was the end of the deal and it was over and done with.
And the good guys won because they were equally equipped, or actually quite a bit better equipped.
Exactly.
Because working class people can afford way better firepower. Yeah. But that's okay. I don't really feel bad when justice is served on one level or the other. Might be a little radical sounding, but I'd rather that some gangbanger doesn't accomplish his evil will and that some old lady or some mother trying to just take care of her kids survives. I mean, call me weird, but I really tap in with the vibration wave that Ted Nugent has in the past, and I just maybe I'm a weirdo, but to me, good people living is a good thing, and bad people not being able to carry out their deal is a good thing as well.
And it appears that on the surface might be the reason for the legislation in the state of California is trying to prevent the criminals from getting firearms.
Yeah, but passing a law will make them all stop. Hey, you know what? I was thinking the other day, there's a lot of crack on the streets too, Lou. I'm going to start a campaign. I'm going to be a politician. And if they would only simply just ban crack, if they would make crack illegal, Lou, that would totally get crack off the streets.
Hold up a minute there, Rex.
No, seriously.
I'm pretty sure there is already laws in place for that exact thing.
Well, I don't think so. Well, then why is there crack everywhere?
That is a mystery. That would be the mystery.
It's just ridiculous. Of course, the bad guys are not going to listen to the laws. And only people listening to the laws are the good people, unfortunately. So the bad guys have the monopoly of power. That's something that maybe good folks need to get a little more enthusiastic about, is just being equipped to defend themselves. That's just my opinion.
And also holding their elected officials accountable for the laws that are passed.
Absolutely. And that's what I do, man. Like if I got an elected official up here who's really good even, and he says one thing that's a tiny bit out of line, he's going to know my name. And I call him on the local radio show and he's doing his town hall meeting or whatever live on the radio. And I harass that guy on air or whatever. Anytime you see him, you send him emails, you send him letters. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, man. It's called growing a pair, like they used to say in the old days, and just kind of holding these dudes accountable because they're not your boss, man. Guess who's the boss?
We the people.
We the people are the boss of them. And they are our elected servants to do our will, not the other way around. So it's an attitude adjustment deal. And so once we remember that and we get the electric light of liberty back in our eyes, we take this place back, man.
It's also to not have somebody babysit us.
Yeah, the government's going to be our mommy, Lou. The government's going to be your mommy. They're going to tuck you in at night and take care of you. Is there anything else you need? Oh, this is a pointy object. You shouldn't be allowed to have this. I mean, dude, give me a break. I'm a grown man. And it's funny because all these people who are so scared and want to ban guns all day long are the same people who complain about the police departments being way out of control and not being equipped to defend anybody, right? So it's like, dude, you can't ride two ponies at the same time. You got to pick an argument. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I personally believe that if a bad guy's trying to get me, the safest I can be is to be immediately safe rather than calling the police 10 minutes after you've been beaten and raped or whatever, and then they roll up like 40 minutes later and don't even get the guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a basic equation, and people watch too much darn TV, man. That's really all it boils down to.
And the television culture, the media culture, a lot of it begins in California.
Yeah, so it's kind of the genesis zone of that. Kacie, what do you think about all this?
I think that if it were up to the government to save us or our local police stations or whatever, I don't believe that they can. I think they're human beings. I think we're all human beings, and it's their job. And like us, when we go to our job, sometimes we don't do the best job that we can do. And even though they should, and they should give it their full effort and all of that, they have other things that are important in their lives going on. They have other things in their job that are going on that are distracting. And so, you know, whether it's an emergency or not, and I call them, are they going to be right there right now? Like if I was their own daughter? Probably not. But I know if I were to call somebody that loved me, they'd probably be there with their gun. If I were in that situation, I would either pull out a gun and take care of myself, or I would call somebody that loves me, not somebody that doesn't know my name.
Someone may be more accessible to actually prevent the crime. That's one thing, is cops never prevent crimes. They only try to find the bad guy after the crime already takes place.
Yeah, typically.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break and be back with more of the Firing Line Radio Show right after this.
A message from Vince, the owner of Bullseye Sport Guns and Ammo in Riverside.
If you're a first-time gun owner or thinking about purchasing your first firearm, whether for hunting, home defense, or recreational shooting, it is important to take the next step and become a responsible gun owner. We highly recommend that you attend a certified firearm safety and training class, one that will teach you the basic knowledge, skills, and attitude essentials to the safe and efficient use of your firearm. As a law-abiding citizen, you have the right to self-defense, and with that right comes an obligation to educate yourself on the laws and safety procedures needed to use a firearm properly.
For information about certified firearm training classes, call Bullseye Sport in Riverside at 951-823-0211 or check out their schedule of classes at bullseyesport.com.
Because at Bullseye Sport Guns and Ammo, we believe in safety first.
951-823-0211. Pull!
Whether you're a gold medalist or new to the sport of shooting, you'll love Prato Olympic Shooting Park in Chino, where Olympians shoot. Prato's shotgun facility is world-class, offering trap, skeet, and 5-stand. And the pistol and rifle ranges are safe and enjoyable shooting environments with professionals there to answer all your questions. Are you an experienced pistol shooter with an itch to take your skills to the next level? Discover the sport of practical shooting at one of the monthly events. Prato hosts ISPC shooting events open to the public every first and third Sunday with Prato Run and Gun Club, blending accuracy, power, and speed with challenging multiple moving targets, penalty targets, and obstacles. Prato Olympic Shooting Park is a great place to teach your whole family about the safe and effective use of firearms. Bring the whole family for an exciting day at the shooting range. Call Prato Olympic Shooting Park at 909-597-4518. Online at shootprato.com. 909-597-4518.
AM 590. The Answer.
This portion of the Firing Line is brought to you by Bullseye Sports in Riverside and Cutting Edge Bullets for when you care enough to send the very best.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my boomstick!
Welcome back to the Firing Line Radio Show. It's Lou McCoy, TiborasaurusRex, and Kacie Day sitting in for Mr. Philip Naiman while he's currently in transit to an undisclosed location. He'll be back next week. Of course, if you're a regular listener of the Firing Line Radio Show, you know that it's brought to you by Bullseye Sports Guns and Ammo, and they've got you covered for all of your needs.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need ammunition or if you need to get something bore-sighted, they'll get you squared away, guys. Go down there and check it out. Where are they at, Lou?
They are on Brockton between Arlington and Central and Riverside.
Yeah, go check it out, guys. Pretty good store.
Or you can find them on Facebook or log on on to bullseyesport.com.
Purchase at least one armful of firearms. If that's legal in your state, which I don't know if it is, man. You know, that reminds me, like right now, the pendulum has swung kind of in our favor, politically speaking. And I talked about this with Philip last time. But I don't think this is the time to get fat and happy, Lou.
Because that pendulum always swings back the other way.
Yeah, and when this one swings back, it's going to be hard. There's a lot of very grumpy social justice warriors out there ready to cry, a lot of snowflakes ready to melt, and it's going to be a rough deal, man. So when this next slew of anti-gun laws kicks in, it's going to be horrible. And so if you ever wanted to purchase your stuff, or if you ever wanted to actually shoot your rifle and learn how to use it, that's one thing, man, is like a lot of guys stockpile firearms and they look at them and they set them on the coffee table and put cool accessories on them and pose for their Facebook pictures, but they won't actually shoot them things, man. And they won't actually get to a level of proficiency that's combat effective. You got to think about the effects of adrenaline, man. You're only going to be 1/10 as effective as you would be in an actual bad situation. So whatever level of proficiency you think you need to survive, if something ever would go bad potentially someday, you need to train a lot. And so that's something I'd highly recommend. Is now is not the time to just sit on your butts. Now is the time to buy some ammo and get out there and shoot and learn what you're doing.
And if you're going to become a viable field expedient Patriot Badger, as they said on the last show.
The modern Minuteman. Yep.
Yes, sir. You need to actually get out on the range and learn how to use your equipment effectively.
Absolutely. And it's not a lot of bells and whistles that you necessarily need. You know, there's an old saying that says, beware of the man with one gun. And you don't need a lot of tackle on there. And there's a lot of cool stuff. I'm kind of a gear aficionado as well. I like that stuff too. But in all honesty, if you get one decent rifle that shoots well and you get a good optic on it, you just spend a little bit more money and get one good quality setup. And then you take that out and you spend a few $1,000s on ammunition. And, you spend a few $100s or a few $1,000s on training. You can dramatically increase your effectiveness with that. So you need to get out there in the range and shoot, man. That's like incredibly important. You can hand even like a really hardcore precision rifle to just a novice, and just because it has a scope on it doesn't mean he's going to do anything with it that's effective. And whether that be hunting, target shooting, or especially in a tactical situation, you definitely have to practice, man.
You always use the musician analogy, which is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't just hand some kid a $5,000 guitar and he instantly can whip out a Jimi Hendrix song. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you could hand Hendrix a $60 pawn shop special and he's going to make that thing scream. So I always say this, the same thing with anything. You can't just buy the equipment and all of a sudden be an expert. That ain't how that deal works. So I'd strongly recommend that. And there's for a Minuteman rifle, we talked about this on our podcast a while back. There's a few different options, but really the most efficient way to get that done is to have a precision rifle, like a bolt action rifle, which just so happens to still not be banned in the Republic of California, the People's Communist Republic of California, that has been overtaken by the machines. What was that movie, Terminator? Remember that?
Skynet?
Skynet. I think Skynet actually took over. Something took that place over, man. It ain't like what I remember from a long time ago.
I think Arnold was the governor there for a while.
Wasn't he
what
the
happened?
governor? What happened to that?
Dude. Yeah, that's what they call posing, okay? That's not a real-life tough guy. Hey, did you get to talk with Charlie Melton at our event last week there?
I did not. I took one look at that dude and I was terrified. he could kill you by looking at you the right way.
For those who don't know who Charlie Melton is, he's a Navy SEAL sniper instructor who trained Chris Kyle and Marcus Luttrell and all them tough guys. But he's a big guy.
He's huge. I was actually comparing him to a Spartan, because they talk about how Spartans have bigger bones.
Yeah.
This guy was built with large bones.
Yeah, he could break me in half, and he's a pretty cool guy. Very, very intimidating to look at him. But the neat thing about guys like that is he's quiet, he's cool, he's collected. He doesn't have to project himself or pose as a tough guy because he is a tough guy. So the empty can rattles the most, Lou, and the full can, which is this guy, Charlie Melton, definitely a tough guy in real life. It's a full can. There ain't no rattling with him. He's a man of few words, but the words do count. And he was pretty cool. We got to meet him when he came out to our event last week in Dallas there, and we had a good time. He did a little bit of talk about long-range shooting and fundamentals and stuff like that. Just kind of we had a good time kind of visit with him in the background there, and he's a down-to-earth, cool guy. So it was nice to meet him.
And pretty humble about it, too.
Absolutely. A humble guy, too.
So, Rex, talking about the Minuteman Rifle, you're saying a bolt action?
Yes. For every 250,000 rounds expended on the battlefield on the war in terror, one enemy insurgent confirmed it has been killed. That's about it.
One for every 250,000 rounds?
Yeah, that's a lot. You know how much cans of ammo that would be to carry that up and load that up in your truck? You know how many trucks of ammo
heavy.
that is? That's a lot of ammo. I need to do a video just showing what 250,000 rounds looks like. Or you can just aim and hit it the first time, right?
There you go.
And I'm not saying nothing bad about the military effectiveness. Currently, there's a lot of that is accounted for training and stuff. But really, a lot of guys really go to the Hollywood route and they just want to shoot. I would prefer you first really know what you're doing and become incredibly proficient. A rifle's an incredible weapon system. You talk about all the hidden potential that a bolt action has. And that's really the potential liberty preservation mechanism that has people shaking in their beds at night who are looking to do bad things to this country. It's what keeps them up at night is the bolt action rifle, I think. And so, I mean, just getting a hold of one of them things and actually practicing with it is going to really serve to be very, very effective in a whole multitude of potential scenarios. So it's pretty exciting to be able to be on the cutting edge of getting people back into the bolt action rifle in a big way, not in a generally proficient way, but truly making them very, very incredibly effective.
So along with the resurgence of an enthusiasm for firearms throughout the country, we've also got a resurgence of female enthusiasm with it too. And our very own Kacie Day over here recently not only bought her first handgun, she was terrified of them before, and she went from being terrified of it to being an ace in about
10 minutes.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And if you guys don't believe me, you've got to go check out the video. It's 0 to deadly, just throwing it out there. But I literally screamed when I did my first shot out of a 6.5 Creedmoor bolt action rifle. But I shot it and I screamed. Because I wasn't ready for it. But then after that, I mean, it was really simple. With a little bit of instruction, it can go a long way.
Yeah, we got her shooting under 1 minute of angle in less than 10 minutes of instruction on the first 3 shots of her entire life.
Yeah, never.
And so we got it on camera too, which is hilarious. Yeah, it's called 0 to Deadly in 10 minutes or something like that on YouTube. Check that out. It's on the TiborasaurusRex YouTube channel. But yeah, Kacie and even Mrs. Rex had a good time. Mrs. Rex actually laid them in there all in the same hole.
Yeah, Mrs. Rex is pretty efficient.
Hard to keep up with her. But I mean, really, sub 1 minute of angle is actually doing really good. There's a lot of guys that are totally satisfied with that. And that's a good starting point to really reach out there and project that out to 1,000 yards.
And the thing about training is that a lot of times, if you've got bad habits, that is the toughest thing to overcome.
Yeah. And it's nice to start fresh with some chick who's never really done it before. They're a lot easier to get squared away than some dude who thinks he knows everything. So Kacie did awesome.
You do it right the first time and you're going to be a lot better off. We're going to take a quick break and be back with more of the Firing Line Radio Show, brought to you by Bullseye Sport, right after this.
Are you an expert marksman looking for a clean, safe place to shoot? Or maybe you've never shot a gun but want to learn? Well, the Riverside Indoor Shooting Range is the best place to work on your shooting skills, no matter what your experience level is. With 21,000 square feet of indoor range space, 35 shooting lanes, and an electronic target retrieval system, it means no line breaks and more trigger time. The friendly people at Riverside Indoor Shooting Range can answer all your questions about firearms training, self-defense training, firearm rentals, gunsmithing, archery, and more. And for the ladies, the Riverside chapter of The Well-Armed Woman meets there the second Tuesday of each month for women of all experience levels. Looking for a great holiday gift for the shooting enthusiast in your life? During the month of December, get 10% off a full year's membership or 10% off any gift certificate of $40 or more. Riverside Indoor Shooting Range. For directions and info, log on to riversideindoorshootingrange.com. That's riversideindoorshootingrange.com.
AM 590. the answer.
This portion of the firing line is brought to you by the Riverside Indoor Shooting Range, by Gromit's Cutlery and Gifts, and CCW Safe.
Spartans! Lay down your weapons! Persians! Come and get them!
Welcome back to the Firing Line Radio Show. It's Lou McCoy, Kacie Day, and TiborasaurusRex in for Philip Naiman today. And thanks again, Phil, for letting us be a part of your awesome show here in California. We might be visiting you guys sometime soon.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to maybe getting some going.
One of the biggest things that happened in the long-range community as of late was this alleged Canadian sniper shot that was 2.2 miles.
Yeah, that's what they reported. I think it was Joint Task Force 2 took out an enemy insurgent. I think they're in the battle at Mosul, which is in northern Iraq. There's a big dam there. And they're trying to take it back from the ISIS forces guys for a while. And the Canadian snipers run the Macmillan TAC 50 with the Schmidt-Bender PM2 and some specialized equipment that actually gets them a little farther out there. There's some interesting mirror devices that you can attach to your optics that actually give you a huge additional amount of elevation adjustment in your turret, so you can't actually reach out that far. But one of the challenges, man, of shooting that far, it's interesting case study in what goes into long-range shooting, is when you're shooting at like 2.2 miles, that's like 3,500 meters or something.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's like incredibly far. Now, the max effective range of something like a 50 BMG really is only like a little over 2,000 meters, because even with an A-max bullet, which has a ballistic coefficient over 1.05, is an incredibly efficient bullet, one of the best long-range projectiles there is. Even with that particular bullet, that bullet goes transonic at a little over 2,200, 2,300 meters, depending on the atmospherics. And that thing's going to be severely destabilized in the transonic zone, and you basically completely lose your accuracy potential past that point. But even if you could maintain the tractability of the bullet through the descending leg of the trajectory, it's an incredibly difficult shot to pull off, just in terms of what kind of stuff you got to dial into your scope, man. I mean, that's a long time. That's like a 10-second flight time to hit something at that distance. You know what I'm saying? Especially a small target, even if you can see the target. We did a little YouTube video a little while ago kind of showing what would go into a shot similar to that at 2.2 miles, and we actually get video footage through a PM2 scope cranked all the way up, and it's incredible. You can't even hardly see anything. It's just a blur. But really, I mean, even stuff like the spin of the Earth at that distance actually becomes a factor. It's not really an issue with most small arms applications, but when you're talking about 2 miles and a 10-second flight time, just the horizontal component of the Coriolis drift, which is an apparent force, not an actual force, but it can move you 6 feet, man, at that distance. So, and just thinking about, okay, so you got a bad guy standing there leaning against a wall is supposedly what might have happened, and you pull the trigger, and that guy gets up and goes and gets a cup of coffee. And the bullet's on its way. He fills up his cup, comes back and steps right into the wrong spot at the wrong time. So, yeah, it's one of them deals to where it's so far, it's basically practically impossible to expect any kind of one-shot hit at that distance. Just based on my experience shooting big bore rifles similar to that at pretty long ranges, I'm guessing that they're laying down area suppression fire and eventually lobbed one of them in there and made a hit.
What'd you call that? You called that Vegas shooting?
Yeah. George Banky from Mirage ULR, we were talking with him. He specializes in extreme long-range shooting, and he came out to the event too last week. But he calls it Las Vegas shooting. So you just keep pulling that slot, and eventually you get 3 cherries to line up. You know what I'm saying? So
walk them in there.
And that's something that they edit out to most sniper shows or most movies or whatever. Is like, it's not a one-shot kill. It's like a 40-shot kill in incredibly skilled hands at that range. It's incredibly hard. I mean, that's very, very, very lucky, even if it was a kill within 10 shots. So it's just interesting to see how far that really is.
So even with the best equipment in the world, even in the best, most qualified hands in the world, it's still going to be a difficult shot.
Well, I'll tell you what, without incredibly specialized equipment, you don't even have enough elevation in the mount or the scope mechanism to even see the target in the bottom of the scope when it's maxed all the way out. The target is actually outside the view of the optic, even on the lowest power setting. So we go over that in one of our videos. We did a detailed analysis of that shot. But that's stuff like we talk about in our training events and stuff like that, where we really get into the mechanics of it. But it's just an interesting case study in a shot at that distance is so incredibly far that you really get to see the science come out and play with you a little bit.
And you are a scientific guy, and that's why a lot of...
supposedly. I am a guitar player, though, Lou.
By trade.
Yeah.
But you are a scientific dude, and that's why a lot of people take your opinion and your expertise.
Sure.
And your YouTube channel breaks things down with the ballistics, with equipment, with everything way further than anybody else. You really explain why you can't be dependent on a computer for everything.
Yeah, there's so much more things going on. It's infinitely complex. If you look at internal bore conditions and all the different varying things within the mechanics of the rifle that add up to bore axis shifts when you're talking about internal ballistics and things like that, or the lay of the rifle has to be absolutely perfect so the harmonics are translated into the ground perfectly every time and uniformly. There's a lot of details that are not going to be accounted for in a computer app or your cell phone app that's going to get you squared away. So you really actually still need to know what you're doing if you want to expect any degree of precision at extreme long-range shooting. And so, yeah, that's something we get into on the channel, and also now that we're doing some training. And so it's pretty exciting. It's a neat craft to get people into. And even like Kacie Day and Mrs. Rex are going to get out there, and we're going to get them all polished up on the rifle. And it's not even going to take that long. And we're going to get them to go out there and absolutely dominate all the local competition. And they're going to make a lot of dudes put their little tails between the legs. I really am excited to watch this happen because a lot of these guys think they're pretty good, and they are good. But women actually do very good biologically. Just the biological control they have over their bodies is a lot more positive. And so they just intuitively become better at peripheral awareness of all the different atmospherics. And with the biology, that's why they're such incredible snipers when they train them up in history. You look at the Russians and how they employed them in World War II. It's incredible how effective they were at that particular role. So if they want to be in a combat role, I think the most effective use of a woman in a combat role is as a precision shooter or a sniper. They do incredibly well. So I encourage chicks to get out there and really learn this deal too. There's a lot of ground they can cover with that.
No, I'd also really encourage females to get involved in it. It's something that I personally had a fear of guns, and I got started off with it, and it's been really great for me. It's an empowering thing for women, and not just in the sense of like you feel cool because you have a gun, not like that, but you feel like you're secure. A weapon isn't supposed to feel safe, it's just supposed to provide safety.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well said there.
So, yeah, it was absolutely a pleasure to watch people smiling and laughing so hard for the very first time. And after 3 shots, she's already incredibly deadly. So imagine how good you're going to be after like 300 shots.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm excited to get out there.
It's not actually that hard once you know the procedure to do this. In all reality, you're going to have fun. Because once you see how it's done, it's like not that difficult. And people try to pretend like it's impossible. But once you know what the procedure is, you are set. And you're going to be very efficient at what we're doing. So I'm excited to walk you through this and videotape it all and show it on the channel and show chicks that it's an awesome thing to get into for sure.
I hope that more females get out and start doing it. And guys, if you have girlfriends that you're trying to get into guns, maybe getting her started on something like a 6.5 Creedmoor won't be as scary for her. So that's something I would suggest.
Yeah, and it's a good cartridge. It actually is very effective.
We're going to take a quick break and be back with one more portion of the Firing Line Radio Show. Stick around.
If you carry a concealed weapon and own a concealed carry permit, you need protection beyond the weapon. My name is Larry Vickers, and I am a retired veteran of U.S. Special Operations, and I now teach law enforcement, civilians, and members of our military in advanced firearm training. I train people to use their firearms in almost any situation, but I can't prepare them for what happens if they are forced to use a gun to save their lives. That's why I use CCW Safe. They offer membership plans for concealed carry permit holders, and if members are involved in a use of force incident, CCW Safe provides expert witnesses, investigators, and the best defense attorneys in the U.S. Yearly plans range from $99 for a single membership to $150 for a dual membership, and special plans are available for law enforcement and military. Members are required to have a valid concealed carry permit and must maintain their permit. Visit ccwsafe.com today.
AM 590, The Answer.
This portion of the firing line is brought to you by Prato Olympic Shooting Park in Chino and Vortex Optics. Vortex, the force of optics.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Welcome back to the Firing Line Radio Show. It's Lou McCoy, TiborasaurusRex, and Kacie Day in for Mr. Philip Naiman today. Thanks again, Phil, and we hope that you arrived at your destination safely with plenty of food and water in your cardboard box.
I shipped him well enough. We filled up the bowl before we sent him.
Yeah, we filled up the bowl. Hopefully it didn't turn upside down and it all poured on him. So we'll see.
I didn't put this side up on the box. I forgot.
We shipped him off to Madagascar someplace, man, just as a practical joke. But he'll be all right. He'll survive.
He should be back next week for the next firing line. But in the meantime, you're stuck with us, guys, and we hope you're enjoying the show so far. We have a lot of fun, like we do on our podcast, actually. We've got a podcast that's on rexreviews.org. You can check that out, and that's kind of runs in conjunction with your YouTube channel, and the YouTube has spurned into long-range precision shooting training, the RX series of everything that we do. And
absolutely,
it's
man.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it, and that's the main thing. I don't know how many more of these deals we're going to knock out. We got a lot of different projects on the burner, but for right now, we're trying to hand at it. I know there's a big demand for people wanting to get this level of training. So we thought, okay, we'll offer this for a while and kind of see how it goes. But it's been interesting. A lot of serious operators were able to show up, a lot of really, really hardcore people. And it's been really, really humbling to see all came out, you know. And so if it's something you want to meet up with other guys who are really, really into that stuff, not just posing on Facebook for it, but really want to actually get a solid understanding of what they're doing, this is an awesome place to get together. I mean, you can just learn so much around the lunch break.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's dudes like, and they start visiting and like, whoa, this guy's with this outfit, this guy's with this outfit, this person has done this. It's incredible, the level of experience that you're just going to be able to bump shoulders with when you're sitting around the tables. So it was a lot of fun, man. We had a good time.
Well, Rex, the cool thing with your class that you offer is that it's not just fundamentals. It's not just that basic knowledge stuff. This is like the top college level type of sniper course.
That was kind of our intent. I think that it's very important to, like, if you really want to learn how to fly an airplane, you probably should go to the pilot school and learn about the science of what goes into making the airplane fly, so that when you actually take off the airplane, you're not just playing around like a little kid. You're actually commanding that aircraft. And so that's what we do. We actually have two different things coming up. We're going to do a live fire course. It's going to be incredible. We're lining up a really nice piece of land out there in California. That one has not been put on the books yet. It's probably not going to be a lot of people allowed into that deal because we're limited. We want to make sure that we instill this very solidly into whoever does show up. So you don't want to get too many people in the class. But we do have a seminar portion that is totally prerequisite to that. And that deal is on the books right now. I think that's in September.
I think September 23rd and 24th we're going to be down there.
Yeah, that's just like next month. So it's pretty cool.
If people wanted to check that out, they would just go to www.rexreviews.org.
Yeah. Rexreviews.org is kind of where we have the tickets for sale. Just click on the training tab. But yeah, we wanted to provide something that would be like a master's level prerequisite course so that we can totally lay out the foundation in a really hardcore way so that folks can actually use the range time and not start off in this kindergarten level stuff, but actually hit the ground full speed running, and you can teach them some advanced level technique and science and really refine the shooting position and refine how to arrange your data in a field expedient, effective way that makes for a viable long-range shooter. A lot of guys can stumble through a long-range course because the guy's telling you exactly where to dial your optic or exactly what to do while you're sitting there. But we're trying to make people that are actually going to be able to take this deal home and then share with everybody. Because I think that's my secret mission, Lou.
You have a secret mission.
I do. I want everyone to be super proficient in this, because if everyone's super proficient in this deal, it's going to preserve liberty for a long time. And it's just something that we need to pass on, to the next generation. And we're kind of responsible as people who are just coming of age. We're being mature adults now, and we're getting into this, and we're a big influence on people younger than us and people who are looking up to our generation, man. We have a responsibility to make sure that we instill this American heritage into them too, man, because that's the only thing that's going to ensure their survivability in the world, to maintain the beautiful, awesome liberties we do have still at this in this great country, man. And so that's really the motive for us doing this, but
is to preserve liberty and to ensure barbecues for the future.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
There's a lot of countries where you can't do a barbecue for various reasons.
Yes, sir.
But anyone who's traveled around a little bit knows about this. And if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'll send you on a field trip to a certain place that will really help you appreciate where we're at in the United States. But no, man, it's just cool to be able to really go out there and hang out with the people who really want to actually learn this stuff. And so the seminar deal is going to be at the Bass Pro Shops in Rancho Cucamonga. That's a pretty easy place to find for people in Southern California. So this is kind of a one-time deal. We're going to do this just kind of as an experimental deal on the West Coast. These are probably going to be based in Dallas, Texas area. We might only do one a year, maybe one every 2 years once we settle into our full schedule. I don't know exactly how we're going to arrange this stuff, because we got a lot of live fire courses to knock out after we get the seminar series. And if you want to get in on the live fire training with us, we demand that you have to come to the seminar first, because there's no way you're going to keep up with us if you don't know what the heck we're talking about. So we define the entire science, all the language, everything in the seminar portion. Then we give you a few months to actually get your equipment squared away. I don't see how dudes can show up at a live fire course and not have some heavy duty consultation ahead of time to get their equipment even viable, because they're coming with their stuff all out of whack. And so we make sure that you understand all the details and what goes into a good optic that will work for this particular application of fire. There's stuff that works and there's stuff that don't work. We talk about mounts. We talk about how to secure those mounts. Talk about all the different internal ballistics and different rifles and things that make rifles better than others. And we don't only just get in equipment, we get into everything, man. Mm-hmm. Like things to watch out for and how you set up your firing position, natural point of aim, not just the basic fundamentals, but the advanced fundamentals through understanding the true science of all the different levels of ballistics that are involved in making this deal happen to make that bullet actually go exactly where we want it to go. And so it's pretty cool, man. There's nothing really that's really been offered like this. I think that's why it's been so successful so far. And if you guys want to get in on that deal, check out the RexReviews.org website, rexreviews.org for organization or whatever, and go into the training tab and you'll find the event there for the Southern California event. If you want to come hang out with us, that's in September. What was the dates?
23rd and 24th.
Yeah, that's over a weekend. We compressed this one into a 2-day course to make it more easy for you guys. You don't want to get caught out there on the freeway on Friday night, I was told, that you'll get stuck in traffic and miss out on that portion. So we're compressing this into a full 2 days hardcore course. You're going to have to drink like 10 cups of coffee, maybe bring a Red Bull if that's what you're into, or some extra caffeine, and be ready to rock and roll with your notebook in hand, because we're going to really hit the material pretty heavy duty. Then we'll give you at least a few months to get your equipment squared away, to get everything properly set up, to get your inputs ready for your ballistic tables, and we'll get you squared away with our proprietary firing system that's really, really hardcore, heavy duty, fast, and we'll get you awesome at long range. Like I'm talking, it's going to be fun. So we're gonna get you 10 or 20 or 30 years into the future, contingent on how hard you want to study this material. But we're going to get you squared away.
And that's just a fair warning, too, is this is not for the faint of heart or the lazy.
Yeah.
This is
actually, I got a warning video on my YouTube channel. You probably want to watch that, too, if you think this is something you want to come to. There's a lot of folks who probably don't want to come to this because it's pretty heavy-duty learning, and only the really serious long-range guys should probably even consider doing this, because if you just want to go and start pulling the trigger randomly and haphazardly, it's fun to shoot, but we really are going to do this in a serious manner. So I would prefer that if you save the spots for the hardcore guys so they can get in and make sure that they have a chance to get at this, because I don't know how often we're going to provide this deal in this area. So if you want to do it in California, you don't want to have to drive all the way to Texas and wait a year and a half. This is your one chance to get in on it for sure. And if you want to do the live fire course with us, you got to do this one first. We're going to be checking to make sure that you did this first.
And if you are one of those serious guys that's really into this, it's going to save you a ton of money. That's one of the top comments that I hear from the guys that come, is they saved $1,000.
They say, wow, that one sentence just saved me $3,000.
Yep.
Actually, yes, it did. Or that paragraph just saved me like 10,000 rounds of ammunition.
Not only will it save you a ton of money, it's going to save you a ton of time, too.
Absolutely.
Decades.
30 years of experience
just from one guy over here. And once you get all the experts in one room, like our first event, James Yeager showed up at it.
Yep.
And once you get all the experts in one room together, it just kind of coalesces into something awesome.
Yeah, we like to create like a hub point for all the expertise in the industry to get together and kind of collaborate to make this thing awesome. So that's our plan, is to just kind of really make sure this goes down good for you guys. If you want to check it out, it's at rexreviews.org. The tickets are available there. They're done through Eventbrite, so it's a real secure, nice place to pick up your tickets. You probably want to jump on that while you can, and it would be awesome to meet you guys. Check out the YouTube channel if you're not familiar with who we are. We have a lot of fun. We're pretty laid-back dudes. We're not scary. We're pretty silly. We had a lot of fun at the last ones, and we got to hang out with a lot of really cool people from Australia, from all over the world, Army guys, Navy guys, all kinds of fun guys. So it was way too much fun, but we're looking forward to having fun with you guys as well, too.
For more information, check out rexreviews.org, click on the training tab, and check out Rex's YouTube channel, TiborasaurusRex. That is Tiborasaurus on YouTube. For more information, a lot of fun videos on there, years of content and years of wisdom. And a big thank you once again to Mr. Philip Naiman for letting us be a part of the Firing Line radio show today.
Yeah, thanks, Philip, man. It was awesome you letting us on here, so we appreciate it, man.
We hope you make it back from your big adventure, Phil.
Hey, and if any of you thought this was fun, let everyone know, too, because we wouldn't mind coming back someday whenever the next time Phil gets hung up someplace, so... It was fun. I had a lot of fun on this show.
Absolutely. On behalf of Kacie Day and TiborasaurusRex, I'm Lou McCoy. Thanks for tuning in today to the Firing Line Radio Show. Take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you real soon.
When you have to shoot, don't talk.
The Firing Line Radio Show has been brought to you by Bullseye Sports in Riverside, the Riverside Indoor Shooting Range, CCW Safe, Maupin Financial Advisors, Cutting Edge Bullets for when you care enough to send the very best, Prato Olympic Shooting Park in Chino, by Gromit's Cutlery and Gifts, and Vortex Optics. Vortex, the force of optics.